The sound of Suffolk.
Of Suffolk.
Sarah Lilley at breakfast.
BBC Radio Suffolk.
A Suffolk gamer has, together with an online community of loyal followers, raised a phenomenal amount of money for a charity which is incredibly close to his heart. Paul, who is known in the gaming world as the Running Man Z, has now completed 2 sponsored 16-hour live gaming streams, raising money for Alzheimer's Research UK. That is a lot of money, and he joins me now. Hi, Paul.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So, first of all, this is a charity that is really close to your heart, isn't it? Tell us a bit more about that.
That's right, yeah. Well, I'm a little bit croaky. That's just typical. I haven't spoken all day. First off, I'm a streamer, so getting up at this time of day is not really that common, right?
Yeah, I did think that, actually.
Before like 10, 11 o'clock, so breakfast shows are not for me. But yeah, no, Alzheimer's Research UK is very close to me. It's actually a year to the day since my dad passed away, having struggled with dementia. You know, he was living with dementia for a good while. So he passed away today last year because of dementia, and he was in West Suffolk for the last week of his life. And this last week has been quite a mirror of last year for me as a result, and my family as well, my mum and my sister that were with him at the time. But yeah, I decided to do some fundraising for Alzheimer's Research because my dad was diagnosed with dementia in 2021, and he had a very, very quick decline with it, and didn't really last very long, unfortunately. He was in a care home for the last many months of his life and then passed away today last year as a result.
First of all, thank you for talking today, because I completely appreciate that it must be a difficult day, and as you say, that week leading up to today must have been really hard. So I appreciate that, and thank you. The gaming world is not something that I'm ever so familiar with. So tell me a bit about, what it was you were streaming and how people were interacting with that.
Well, streaming can be different depending on who's doing it, really. But for me, my stream is a little bit like a talk radio broadcast in a way, So I'm playing a video game that the viewers can tune into. So they see me playing a video game, and the game I play is called DayZ, which is like an apocalyptic game, like surviving against zombies and other real players from around the world. Oh, wow. But they'll be watching the game, but also there's like a chat box that ticks along the side where people can type. And then I kind of talk back to the people that come in and tune in. So someone will come in and they'll say hello, I'll say hello back, and so on. It's just a lot like talk radio. And I'm normally having about, say, 4,000 viewers concurrently through the day. And it's quite large, Like over the course of a month, I'll get like over 1 million people watching, not at the same time, but concurrently,
That's amazing.
Over the course of a month.
What do you do that other gamers don't? Why do people want to watch your streams?
I guess it's the same as anything it's like broadcasting, really. It's like there's no magic touch to it, really. But I'm quite good at just coming up with things to say off the cuff. Someone comes in and talks about something, and I'll go on some 90-second spiel that ends up being vaguely funny, maybe. You know? It's like that. It's a bit like it's exactly like being a broadcaster, really. And I do YouTube as well. I fell into it as a gamer. I've been a gamer all my life, but I just started editing silly little videos when I was 37. I'm not your typical gamer. I'm 45. And I started when I was 37. So I started at 37, started making a few videos. And then like 2 years later, I went full time as a streamer. And I've been doing it. Well, I'll be 7 years in May that I've been doing it full time.
It's really interesting. And 16 hours live, what's that like?
Well, start your breakfast show at 8 a.m. and finish at midnight, and then you'll know.
Yeah, well, all right. Yeah, good point.
It's exactly like that. It's how you'd imagine. The only difference is there's no songs to go away from and like go and have a wee or whatever and get something to drink, or you're basically flat out talking for 16 hours with no gaps. That's what it's like.
So
the charity streams, the fundraising streams, are particularly difficult. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of people sharing similar stories of people struggling with dementia, and it surprises you how many people it touches. Like you don't think about it until you see someone in your own family that has it.
Sure.
But when I did that stream, through the course of the day, on that day, there was about 120,000 people coming in, or 120,000 views, because some people come back more than once. But the amount of people that are going through similar things or have had family members that have struggled with dementia or are still struggling is off the scale. You don't really realise just how many people are struggling with it until you do something like that, and then you really understand, you know.
Yeah, and that must have been difficult as well for you, sharing your experiences when it was, you know, I mean, it's all still very, you know, fresh in your mind, and especially then it must have been, because it was all going on around you.
It was, yeah. When you're streaming, you're kind of going, you're a little bit got adrenaline and whatnot. You just kind of get through the day, but when you get to the end, and you're sort of closing the stream down and saying goodbye, and the adrenaline starts coming down, then you do. I did get a little bit emotional at the end of the stream last year and this year. And I've done two. The one I did last year, my dad was still in a care home, and I did one last year, and then this one obviously was as a commemoration of him passing away. Unfortunately, you know, when I did the stream last year, I wasn't really thinking it would have been quite so quick as it was, you know. But yeah, they are very emotional things to do. Like they're very, very tiring. 16 hours of, it's a bit like driving, but doing something else at the same time. You know, you're playing a game, but you're also concentrating on the stream. It's not exactly hard, but it's quite, you have to be focused mentally to do it. You know?
I know your dad, he was aware of that first live stream, wasn't it? The first fundraiser.
That's right, yeah. The last time I saw him was on Sunday, the 19th of December. It's the last time I saw him while he was conscious. And we told him that I'd done a fundraiser. I don't think we talked in detail about the inspiration why and stuff, but one of the very last things he said to me, that he was proud of me for what I'd done. And it did kind of mean a lot to me, you know, the last time I met him and having done it the week before. And when he had a little bit of a stay in West Suffolk Hospital, and then he ended up back in his care home. And there was an article in the local paper about the fundraising. So he opened that and saw it while he was in the care home, just before he ended up going back into the hospital again, which was kind of nice, I think, for him, I think. Because I know it mattered to him. Like, if he was in the paper, I think when he was a bit younger, he would have been quite impressed with that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And a nice memory for you to have.
Yeah. There aren't so many nice memories when you've got a immediate family member like struggling with dementia. You know, it affects things in a way that you don't expect. You know? It's really
hard, isn't it?
Trying to get him into a car. You know, yeah. It doesn't. It's not just like an aging thing where you start losing your memory. It affects your motor skills and your ability to like sit down, stand up, walk, and it was pretty tough the last few months. And little memories like that do matter, because it's nice to have a little moment where you see your real dad, you know, which you don't get so many of in the latter stages, you know.
And you raised a phenomenal amount of money.
Yeah, this year was a little bit less than last year, but obviously right now we're in like the cost of living crisis. So this year's stream had more viewers, but we raised a slight less than the year before. So this year we raised £31,500 just through the day. Yeah, which is it's a lot of money really from just sitting at a PC playing a video game, you know, but it just shows the amount of compassion there is with it. And gaming is huge, you know, gaming's a bigger industry than the cinema and movies and so on, you know, it's a lot bigger than people realise. But it's a really cool thing to be able to do, you know. I've done a couple of these. Like a few years back, I did one for Macmillan Cancer Support, because he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, you know. So I've been able to kind of selfishly pick charity causes that related and were passionate for me. But that really helps if it's something that you can relate to your audience and explain why you do it, then they go with you more and you raise more money as well, you know, which is a good thing, I think. Absolutely. What's your Just Giving page? Is that still up and running? It is still up and running. I've got it in front of me. The link is, it's Just Giving /page/ The Running Man's with a Z on the end. Yeah, and hopefully you'll find it. But if you search The Running Man's Just Giving, I'm sure you'd find it. Okay, brilliant stuff. So today, as we said, it's a very poignant day. Have you got anything planned with the family? I have. Well, it's also my daughter's birthday today. My daughter's 14 today. So we've got a family day booked, and we're mainly going to try and focus on that, I think. Yeah. But Yeah,
Okay.
3:45 this afternoon was when my dad passed away, so I'll certainly be thinking about him at that moment for sure, and the rest of the day. But yeah, we're doing an escape room with my daughter, and well, I've got two daughters, so me and my missus are going to do an escape room, and then we're going round my mum's for like a family meal kind of thing. You know?
Well, I'm glad you've got something special to do today. Thank you so much for taking the time to tell us all about it, and well done for raising all that money. And it's been really lovely to chat and hear more about you and your dad and your story. So thank you, Paul. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Take care.
That's Paul there, also known as the Running Mans, who is an online gamer who's raised a phenomenal amount of money for Alzheimer's Research UK. Wonderful to hear his story this morning. It's 8:30.